Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
What do you want your target market to ask you to do for them? Now, that's a very important question if you're a coach, a consultant that's passionate about doing the work that you're meant to be doing and living an inspired life while doing that. You know why? Because then you have completely understood what your target market, your target audience, or your customer avatar, or maybe the buyer persona literally wants from you. Do you know something else? You know, if you get clear on the future that you want or the future that your clients want, not the features of what you're selling, your customers will literally tell you what exactly they're going to be asking of you. But this doesn't happen without you creating for and relating to your audience. Now, like I said, if you're a coach or consultant that's looking to do work that matters and live an inspired life while doing it, you're in the right place, my friend. This is Online Prosperity Show, the only show on the internet where we give you tips and tricks for you to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Because my mission is to help coaches and consultants like yourself build a brand that they're proud of and create a lifestyle that they love. Wouldn't that be nice? So when I started the show, I threw in a couple of words, just to bend your brain into a pretzel. I talked about target market, I talked about target audience, I talked about customer avatar, and I talked about buyer persona. And these are all words you've heard at least once or twice on the journey to creating your business. And in this podcast, I'm just going to give you the 7-step roadmap to actually understanding your target market and literally winning their hearts, because people do business with those they know, like, and trust. And if you're the person that's giving them the information that they're craving for, you, my friend, will create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Wouldn't that be nice? So I'm hoping that by the end of this podcast, you'll be able to build a smarter funnel so you can actually build a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Now, I got a question for you. What would you do if you literally had more demand for your services than you could possibly handle? I mean, really, really think about that. Would you maybe raise your prices? Would you maybe fire all those lousy clients that don't pay on time and don't appreciate the work that you're doing? Or would you only choose to work on projects that you absolutely love? Or maybe you would, expand your business or literally grow it to be much more profitable than it is. I work with a lot of coaches and consultants, and a lot of them, especially every coach, consultant, or small to medium business owner that comes to us usually dreams of that perfect customer, that just arrives seemingly from nowhere, already convinced that they want to buy. But it doesn't work like that. Okay? People need to know you, people need to like you, and people need to trust you. And that takes time. And not a lot of us have that much time. But if you literally, put it upon yourself to create for and relate to your target market and identify who those people are in a sea of Me Too people out there, you, my friend, will be the, most chosen option, not just any other option in the marketplace. So you've heard of these words, the buyer persona, you've heard of customer avatar, target audience, and target market. But you know what they all represent? They represent your tribe. They represent the people you want to serve. They represent the people you need to love so that they love you back with their credit cards, so that they love you back with their sharing of your content, so that they love you back with their loyalty. Okay? These people are maybe looking for health, wealth, or relationship advice that you are putting out there. And at the end of the day, your solutions and your systems and processes should actually help them solve the problems that they're facing. And it is these tribe and it is these people that you want to serve that will help you create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay. So if you want a profitable and purposeful brand, your target market should literally be your BFFs. I heard this word from my little girl saying, "You're not my BFF, Dad." And I'm like, wait a minute, but I pay your bills. That don't impress her much. You need to be the Thelma to my little Kalia. You need to be the Thelma to your Louise. Okay? Because the more you know them inside and out, the easier it will be for you to reach and connect to them. Ndikatanga kutaura chirudzi chamusinganzwa ungandinzwere. Ibaba handotoshamsikoti ndiri kudii. Please do not change or touch the dial. I just spoke in my own language just to illustrate the point that if you don't understand intricately, inside and out, what your customers think, say, and how to say it, you would never be able to connect with them. There's a lot of noise out there, and the only way you can cut through the noise is to know your audience. Okay, so we're going to look at why knowing your audience is very, very important. All right. Because let me tell you something. Any killer message, any TikTok, any social media meme that you might create, out there has to resonate. First of all, not logically, but it has to kind of resonate emotionally. It has to build real connection. It has to move people to buy. And it has to build on a foundation of knowing who that message is directed to. People do not respond to marketing that does not speak to them. Okay. So if maybe you are a mortgage broker and you only help investors that have maybe bought 3 or 4 properties and above, and that's your specialization, people that are still first home buyers would never understand the language or how you express risk management and things of that nature. You understand where I'm going with this, right? Yes, you're still going to the same lenders to get that mortgage, but it's for a different person, it's for a different risk appetite, and it's for a different strategy. Same product, but different use cases. So you got to know your tribe at a deeper level by literally pinpointing, first of all, their fears, their desires, and their goals in life. What is it that they are after? And do you have the language? Do you have the systems, the processes to help them throw rocks at their enemies? The things that keep them up at night. So I want you to grab a document, a paper, or whatever. If you're in a cafe right now, the napkin that they gave you to wipe off the dirt off your mouth. And I want you to follow each step and jot everything else down. All right. I'm going to give you full disclosure. I'll use she throughout this blog. And this doesn't apply to anyone. It's just an easy way for us to communicate, right? So don't get all hung up on, how I pronounce or the, pronouns that I'm using, etc., etc. From now on, I want you to start finding your tribe and turn them into your BFFs, all right? What that means is you need to have in your mind a picture of the person that you're speaking to, Every time I come on this podcast, I'm like snitching on somebody who I would have spoken to and they gave me an idea of the topic that we're talking about, right? So somebody came to me today and then, we were just looking at their marketing strategy. We were just looking at their message. And then when it came to us, really identifying their ideal client and the clarity they have about who exactly we are sending out this message to, they had no clue. So for me right now, I literally can see them across my screen, even though I'm just looking at this podcast recording and, the zigzag things of me speaking hi or low. But I have the picture of the person that I'm talking to in my mind. I literally am having a conversation with somebody across the table from me. It just so happens that it's being recorded. Okay, so you need to start by picturing one person. Who are you talking to and why should they care? That's very, very important. All right, so you want to picture one person who would represent the entire tribe, okay? It could be maybe the best customer you've ever heard, or the person that you would have enjoyed working with at some point. Or maybe it could be somebody that you admire and would love to work with every single day, okay? So you want to describe this person, and you want to be as specific as possible, because the clearer you get a picture of who you're trying to reach, the easier it is for you to actually speak to them in the lingo and in the mannerisms and in the level of respect and understanding, of what it is that they would understand. You look at things like their age. All right. So when you look at things like age, you would notice that when you start speaking about maybe TV references, they would understand Seinfeld. They would understand Shusha. They would understand My Little Pony and things like that. All right. And when you start talking income, then they would be able to pay for and be comfortable looking after the invoices that you send to them. Okay. When you look at their marital status, maybe you're giving them relationship advice. Maybe you are a mortgage broker, okay? And maybe you need two incomes for them to be able to afford what it is that you're selling to them, okay? Maybe you're looking at, when you look at their job title, some people make decisions within a business, okay? There's no point in you ringing and talking to a janitor when you want to sell marketing packages to a firm. All right. And you want to look at their hobbies and interests, and then you can see how else can you connect with them outside of the activities that you're sending, out to them. And, when you know the favorite places to hang out, either online or physically, you want to find yourself in those places and find common ground so that you've got more things to talk about instead of you just trying to sell them something. And then if you know their family situation, you would know and understand if they have kids or not. If you're trying to sell them a holiday, then you would try and send them to kid-friendly resorts and things of that nature. Do you see now why it's very important for you to actually have this picture of a person that you want to reach out to? Because once you can, talk to them at a level and an understanding that depicts exactly who they are, people always assume that if you can, really sort of analyze and you can really articulate their problems, they assume that you have the solution. Okay, so step number 2 now is, once you've pictured out who this person is, picture who you don't want to work with. You would know from from all the work that you've been doing, everybody you've been cold calling and hanging up on you, everybody who's been unsubscribing from your email list, anybody else who's not been paying you on time or not appreciating the work that you're putting out there, all of those people are the not so dream clients. All right. So when you've got a dream customer in mind, you want to also start thinking about the people that you do not want to serve, because it's easier to think about the things that you do not want than the things that you absolutely want. Right now, I know you probably don't want to be drinking alcohol until you have lost your mind. You don't want to be smoking your lungs out and things of that nature, right? Maybe you do, but you don't want to overdo it, all right? So you know the things that you don't want to do, but you don't quite know the things that you would want to do. It's just human nature, all right? So there are people that you are not going to market to, people that could be old, people that could be out of business, people that are not decision makers, people that even if you give them the product for free, wouldn't even bat an eyelid because it doesn't work for them, okay? Even if you try and sell me a dress, no matter where I am in life or how much, the society has changed, I will never wear a dress. Okay, it's got nothing to do with your mindset or anything else. It's just me. Please take that away. All right. So you need to know the people that you're not going to be able to market to, or you're not going to want to market to. So the clients who are maybe such a drag to work with, people that are a real pain in the wrong places. The people you don't even want to even be paid $1 million to work with. There's such people that no matter how much money you are paid, you don't even want to touch their work, and you might be asking yourself, why do you want to picture your dream customer and your not so dream customer. You don't want that negativity in your head, because the thing is, it's easier for you to notice things that are negative, all right, and things that you don't want, than the things that you absolutely like. All right, so we have what's called an eyeball test. All right, have you ever noticed that when you're maybe walking in a plane, and in the aisle of a plane, everybody else is already sitting down, and you're just walking, and you're like looking at the people, and then you see somebody who doesn't suit the kind of person that you feel is beautiful, you'd be like, nah, I hope I'm not sitting next to that person. And you see somebody who you feel, look, and think they are attractive, you'd be like, I hope my seat is next to that person, I hope I'm on that empty seat, or something like that. You start looking at your ticket, and then you're like, oh snap, that's not the person that I'm sitting next to. All right, so it's easier for you to really look at the people you don't want to work with, so that your brain can just filter out when those inquiries start coming in. Okay, so there's a saying that when you try and talk to everybody, you talk to no one. It seems a little bit backwards, right? But it's not. Here's why. You see, as a human being, you connect faster to maybe a brand when it actually feels like they're talking directly to you and only you. The reason why that is, right now, you're probably listening to me on your mobile phone. If I start saying you guys, or if I start saying, hey, people, and I'm not directing this message at you directly, you lose concentration. You start feeling like I'm speaking to a group of many people instead of you right now. And especially if you're sitting on the toilet, you might start looking behind you thinking you've got an audience. And can you imagine that that disconnect? People usually just go out of videos or podcasts that speak as if they're speaking one to many, when they're supposed to be speaking to the one particular person who's listening right now, you, my friend. So we connect faster to brands that feel like they know us. You know what I mean? Because the one thing about human beings is people want belonging. People want connection. People want peace of mind. People want status. People want to be valued. So if you're speaking to the one person and you've understood exactly where they are, where they're going, and you've allayed their fears, you can encourage their dreams, that person will, be the pathway to your door. Okay. But when you're talking to everyone, no one answers, your call or wants to buy from you. Okay. I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody's trying to sell makeup, all right? And she probably starts marketing it as makeup for everyone. First of all, you don't know if the recipient is a drag queen or is a person that just needs natural makeup, or somebody who cakes up that makeup for themselves, all right? Let me tell you something. You're not going to buy that because, you know nothing about the makeup that is being sold. What's in it for me? Why is it for me? I'm not everyone. I'm me. I'm Sally. I'm Prosper. I'm Jane. I'm whoever your name is right now. Is it gonna match my skin tone? Is it too bold for me? Is it gonna make me look beautiful? All of that stuff. All right. At the end of the day, there's people that then have different sort of makeup categories. There's makeup for people who don't apologize for their high standards. There's makeup for people that want it to be subtle. And also, please don't be asking and questioning me why I know so much about makeup. I just so happen to be a marketer. So you know exactly who the makeup is for if you actually maybe a person who's strong, who's confident, who's got a lot of swagger, everything that is written on that piece of makeup has to depict the kind of person that you are. All right. And if you don't resonate with the packaging, if you don't resonate with the values of that brand, guess what? You're not going to be putting that on your face. All right. And as a business owner, or maybe a coach or consultant, you need to get your dream into your dream customer's head. That's step number 3, by the way. All right. Once you've got a good understanding of the people that you want to serve, you need to dig deeper and go beyond, their physical attributes. And it's time to get into your dream customer's head. All right. First of all, you want to write down their main goals and values in life. Right now, there's so much stuff going on in life. And so many people are separated, conflicted, and don't quite know, what's right and what's wrong. So you need to be that voice of reason. You need to be there and handhold your customers so that they're not making mistakes and they're making sense of the world around them. Okay. And you need to know exactly what keeps your clients up at night and what are they secretly afraid of. Half of the time, people just want to make sure that they have enough money in the bank. They are not embarrassing themselves to their spouses. And, they just really want to make sure that, whatever solutions you're offering them will make them, happier, will make them richer, will make them thinner and better than other people. So whatever you're selling and whatever you're putting out there, does it resonate and relate to the product or service that you're putting out there? So you want to get into your customer's head and put yourself in her shoes, all right? So you want to walk at least a mile in your customer's shoes. But unless your customers wear those those toy shoes, a lot of hikers wear. Well, yeah, that one I don't encourage you to wear their shoes, but you get what I mean, right? So the goal is for you to know your dream customer on a deeper level, so you can put yourself in their shoes. All right. So let's just give an example. Maybe you're selling what's on my table right now. Let's say you're selling candles. And moms are sort of your target market, or maybe dads that sit around and enjoy a whiskey on a Saturday night. All right. So you want to picture this mom, or you want to picture this dad. A smelly home isn't going to be the reason that stresses her out daily. And it could be part of the problem, but you want to go deeper than that. Maybe she's secretly afraid of being judged as a bad mom. That her life is just so chaotic, or it's a chaotic, roller coaster with all those things that are happening that maybe show that she's not maybe taking care of her family. She probably doesn't have a career, or she's not cleaning her home. All right. So her goal is to be a supportive, loving mother, or like a homemaker, and only wants the best for her children. And she's secretly hoping that her daughter can actually become the president, or becomes the next Miss Universe or things like that. So can you picture that mom? Can you understand what's actually going through her head? And you want to be blunt on what's going through her mind. Okay? So don't go PC on this. Spill it out on the table and make sure that you meet her exactly where she is. Not necessarily trying to, sugarcoat anything that you're putting out there, but to literally help her by actually helping her maybe take care of her family and present like she's got a clean home. Okay. And then once you've done that, step number 4 is figuring out what's actually stopping her from achieving her goals. Okay. Now you want to, you got to know the why behind her inaction. What's stopping her from actually taking action towards her goals and whatever it is that she wants. Think about the doubts going through her mind. What is it that's actually stopping her from taking action? Could it be her fears? Is it an emotional, reason? Or is it because she doesn't have money? Or is it because she doesn't have a job? Things like that. Right? Again, it doesn't necessarily mean what's preventing her from buying your solution or your candles. Go back to your mom. Maybe she's not facing her fears because she's worried about people laughing at her or not fitting into whatever society she's created for herself. All mothers make it look so easy with these huge smiles on her face. She wants to not feel like she has failed. How is your solution going to empower her? How is her solution going to justify her failures? How is your solution going to allay with her fears and confirm her suspicions? And what are you doing to help her throw rocks at her enemies? And then pretty much after that, think about the solution, all right? That will actually get rid of that problem. The actual problem, not the one she's presenting, but the actual intricate problem. Because if somebody comes to you with health, wealth, or relationship problems, they just want to feel good about themselves. They just want to know that they are financially secure. They just want to be loved. So what is the solution that she would pay almost anything for? right? What is that one thing she would secretly want to get rid of, and you are presenting it to her? This isn't necessarily the thing that you're presenting to her, or maybe you're consulting, you're coaching, you're training, your information or your expertise. It could not be that. It could be actually a general solution that would just grant her wish. Now, how would she feel if she could actually magically solve that problem? What's that magic wand that she needs to just go abracadabra, go away, you problem? So if she has had a secret, journal and poured out all her feelings on this problem disappearing, what would she write? What's the first sentence she would write? You know? So let's check back with that mom that is trying to buy candles. Maybe she would pay anything to clone herself, or maybe she would pay anything to hire a nanny to clean the house, or a babysitter to watch after the kids. And hopefully she'll get rid of that smell in the trash can. Oh, guess what she would do? She would buy one of those robot vacuum cleaners, and maybe just wait for it to automatically start cleaning the house by itself. You see, this mom would finally get her home back somehow. And she would write in her journal, you know what, I could take on the world and do anything. Those other moms will be so jealous, of me. And finally, they'll wonder how I can all do it. The secret is my Roomba. The secret is these candles. The secret is, I don't know, whatever the secret is, that so happens to be your solution. All right. And then step number 6, before we conclude this podcast, is you now need to focus on the problem you want to help them with. All right. Because once you've established her secret fears and her goals, you want to twist the knife a little bit more. Dial it in a little bit more and focus on the problem that you're trying to help. So what is the problem? What does she need? And what does she stand to lose if she doesn't actually fix this problem? Because half of the time she might actually really go into serious debt, or she might go into serious health consequences, or she might actually go through a divorce. But let's keep it clean. Let's not be too negative on this podcast. Let's go back to our candle example, okay? So our mom stresses out about being considered a bad mom because, she's juggling everything. She's trying to keep the home clean, kids clean, kinder, whatever it is, you know what I mean? And now, while your candle business may not actually solve her overarching stress, what is a problem that you can solve and help her make her life a little bit easier? So maybe her life is so hectic, she actually forgets to do some of the chores in the house, like maybe taking out the trash, which is exactly what's causing that smell in the house. And, now her house feels like a war zone. Have you ever walked into people's homes that have got kids and their toy room just looks like some, Hiroshima bomb exploded or things like that? It no longer feels like a home. It just feels like a minefield or something like that. So you want to then go in and see, what can I do? What content? How can I create information that would help her to start, looking at this problem objectively? Okay. And then you can start writing content or partnering with people that can help her literally get her life back in order. Okay. And pretty much once you've done that, you just so happen to have candles that she can buy from you. And then the last step is to just turn the spotlight on you. Have you noticed that we haven't been talking about you, your business, your offering, and everything else? It's usually about the customer. It's usually about how you can help people by actually helping them. The last bit is when you then start looking at yourself. And how does your product or your service actually solve problems that you're presenting in the marketplace? Okay. Now, don't focus on the features of your product or the service. Remember, you want to be clear on the future that your customer wants to buy, not the features of the product. Focus on the what's in it for me factor. Why would somebody buy from you right now? Think about all the tangible and all the emotional benefits that your product or service brings to the tribe. This will then narrow the value you bring to your tribe. So if your mom purchased your, say, candle, it will make a house smell like a home, not like a war zone or like a pigsty. So whenever she needs a moment to herself, she can actually inhale that smell from that evergreen goodness and think to herself, wow, I'm finally home. So the tangible benefits is to maybe get rid of the smell. The emotional benefit is giving her a sense of being on control, a sense of finally being at home. All mothers would love that. All right. So that gives her peace of mind. And she knows she's not going to be judged because it boosts her confidence. You see, we're talking from a benefits point of view. We're not talking about, oh, yes, they're just getting rid of smelly candles. The candles are in a jar that lasts forever and things of that nature. Okay. So I want you to have an understanding of your target market. I know that was a lot to cover. I know I was reading through my notes and thinking, wow, that's a lot. But let me tell you something. Doing this exercise will help you immensely. Because when your tribe feels like you literally get them, you know what I mean? And you can satisfy that deep human need, especially to be understood. That's when the magic happens. And then they become your raving, loyal fans. These people will be talking about you at a barbecue or just singing your praises to people. Even if they jump on a public bus, they will be telling everybody about, how good you are for them. All right. So if you're still unclear on what your target market and dream customer is, and you still need help, maybe to pinpoint your dream customer, let me tell you something. Our marketing team, our virtual marketing managers will actually just help you break down this entire process into simple steps so you can effortlessly connect with the people that you want to serve. All right. At the end of the day, we'll work hands-on with you to develop a strategic plan and then deep dive and work through your ideal client clarity, because this is very important. It then shapes the entire marketing plan that you're going to have. And then we'll then look at the strategic messaging, the consulting or the coaching offers that you're putting out there. We also look at your pricing and business model optimization. And then eventually we'll then help you set up your marketing engine and lead generation system so you can consistently attract ideal clients. You know what that does? It now starts helping you generate hundreds of qualified high-ticket leads like clockwork. So you never have to rely on cold calling or emailing just to beg clients to hire you. You know why? Because they get you, you get them, and you guys are BFFs. I don't know what you're going to do with this information, but bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au